Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Kina Rihadatul Aisyah Farha, graduate student of Biomedical Engineering Universitas Airlangga. Through this video, I will present about introduction of regenerative medicine with its applicants. There are 5 main topics that I want to talking about. Introduction, form and function of regenerative medicine, tissue engineering, stem cells, and summary. Regenerative medicine is the process of replacing or regenerating human cells, tissues, or organs to restore or establish normal function. The field of regenerative medicine aims to facilitate the repair of or regrowth or damaged tissue or organ. Humans can naturally regenerate some tissues, including the liver, which, if damaged due to disease or injury, can grow back to its original size and function, though not its original shape. Unfortunately, many other human tissues do not regenerate, and a goal in regenerative medicine is to find ways to promote tissue regeneration in the body or to engineer replacement tissues using tissue engineering. The clinical realization of regenerative therapies is fast approaching, with large-scale clinical trials showing positive outcomes. This will bring a paradigm shift in the way we currently treat degenerative diseases and will be an area of huge hope for patients. A symposium was held in the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland entitled Form and Function in Regenerative Medicine and included speakers with expertise in stem cell biology, biomaterials, and tissue engineering. During the course of the symposium, researchers discussed the importance of form and function in realizing therapeutic success within the regenerative medicine field. The symposium issue captures important trends in regenerative medicine, particularly the need to consider final function of replacement tissues ahead of form when designing novel regenerative therapeutics. The important trends discussed at the meeting include: there are 6 important trends. First, in-depth studies of the pathology of degenerative diseases are needed to optimize design criteria for successful therapeutic intervention. And the second, the source of stem cells used in regenerative medicine is critical, and cells should understand, interact, and integrate with their local environment once implanted. And third, material properties and composition of tissue engineered replacement scaffolds can play an important part in driving function for specific disease application. And next is three-dimensional cell culture models allow interrogation of important aspects of tissue regeneration without the need for excessive in vivo assessment. And fifth, the physiologic environment used for pre-implant culture is of key importance when generating tissue replacements for specific treatment applications. And the last is the sixth, a holistic view of patient need to should be at the center of all future therapeutic interventions, and lessons learned in leading areas of regenerative medicine can be applied to other less investigated areas. Tissue engineering is an interdisciplinary field that utilizes cells, biomaterials, biochemical, and physical signals as well as their combination to generate tissue-like structures. The goal of tissue engineering is to provide biological substitutes that can maintain, restore, or improve the function of damaged tissues. In fact, the use of prosthesis was employed as early as ancient Egyptians. However, these treatments were all based on non-living materials, which provided some structure and function but were very far from the original tissue. Medical development led in the middle of the 20th century to the possibility of replacing an entire organ with an organ from a donor, known today as organ transplantation. However, the relatively simple structure, the limited vascular demands of skin, and the ease of growing keratinoids in vitro are not common to most tissues. The dream of regenerating tissues in vitro faced major hurdles associated with the engineering of complex, three-dimensional, vascularized multicellular tissues. So the main goal is the development of functional substitutes for damaged tissues. It is estimated that the majority of tissue engineering products are used for the treatment of injuries and congenital defects, while tissue engineering products used for the treatment of diseases are less common. Regenerating new tissues and restoring body parts or organs are ideas that were embedded in humans' imaginary world from the dawn of history. The revolution of the human race enabled these imaginary notions to become well-practiced findings all over the years. In the case of the ancient Egyptians, restoring body parts was reasoned by the importance of reuniting and resembling the body to enable revitalization in the afterlife. As inscribed in spells known as the pyramid text, it is believed that the first dental prosthesis was constructed from gold in Egypt around 2500 BC. Nihlik and colleagues account for an ancient Egyptian false picto believed to be the oldest limb prosthesis. Interestingly, this prosthesis was recently found to improve function and walking, which indicates the possibility that the purpose of this design was not only for the afterlife. You can see in the picture, first picture is false picto developed in ancient Egypt around 2500 BC, and the next is a leg transplant from a decreased donor onto a patient with an amputated leg. And the next picture is about around 20 and 13 AD is grafting a hand to man's ankle before reaching to the patient's arm. And the last is about last year, 2023, scalable for culturing mature cardiac tissues by combining calcium and electrical pacing. So, tissue engineering application typically involve the combination of three pillars. It's about cells, signals, and scaffold, which represent the triad of tissue engineering. As you can see in the monitor, although many of the claimed tissue engineering applications might lack one of these pillars, their combination appears to be essential for the success of tissue engineering applications. Current advances in tissue engineering involve development in all elements of the triad. In this section, major advances in cell sourcing, scaffold production, signaling in tissue engineered structure, and their combination to create functional tissues and organ will be presented. So we will to talk about each of triad of tissue engineering. First is cells, being the building blocks of all living tissues, are the starting point for creating tissue substitutes. Autologous cells are considered the favorite cell type for engineering applications. Application of stem cells in tissue engineering continue to grow, and their use has found its way to the clinic. Although adult mesenchymal stem cells remain the dominant stem cell type used in this tissue engineering, embryonic stem cells are also being used and have started to find their way into the market. A major breakthrough in cell sourcing was the recent discovery by Shinya Yamanaka that adult differentiated cells could be induced to become pluripotent stem cells. The discovery of induced pluripotent stem cells, for which Yamanaka was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 2012, has opened unprecedented opportunities in this tissue engineering field by providing a new large source of autologous cells. A major challenge remains in establishing a standardized protocols to induce the differentiation and commitment of differentiated adult induced or embryonic stem cells toward the desired lineages. The past few decades, a great number of biomaterials from natural and synthetic origins, as well as novel fabrication methods, have been proposed. Current research is focused on developing smart biomaterials capable of directing cell function and or enhancing cellular performance. The role of the scaffold is to provide structural support and proper signaling cues for cells so that they can replace the scaffold with their own synthesized matrix. Synthesis of new matrix by the cells and degradation of the scaffold should be synchronized so that one process is not faster than the other. Generally, the goal is to design a scaffold that mimics the structure and composition of the target tissue. Given the complexity of the chemical composition of natural tissues, it is often not possible to fully recapitulate them in vitro. Recent development have led to the establishment of techniques such as bioprinting and two-photon lithography, enabling production of precise 3D structures for tissue engineering applications. These techniques also allow the precise positioning of growth factors and recognition consequence for controlled cell behavior. Scaffolds can be prepared with good control over the chemical composition, allowing cells to spread and proliferate or inhibiting cell spreading. Scaffolds can be made to provide cells with adhesion sequences for cell attachment and matrix metalloproteinase sensitive sequences for scaffold degradation. Modifying scaffold with small molecules such as phosphate groups and sulfate groups, among others, has been also shown to have strong effects on cell proliferation and stem cell differentiation. All the studies are necessary to identify the ideal scaffolds for each individual tissue engineering applications. After providing cells with a growing substrate or scaffold, cells require certain signals to survive and synthesize their own matrix that will eventually replace the carrying scaffold. Much knowledge has been acquired about cell signaling, and even more is currently being elucidated. Signals are normally generated by the surrounding cell microenvironment, sensed by receptor on the cell membrane or directly inside the cell, and translated into a variety of cell responses, including proliferation, apoptosis, migration, differentiation, and matrix synthesis, among others. The most important signals sensed by cells involve oxygen levels, mechanical stimulation, growth factors, extracellular matrix molecules, and other small molecules. It has been shown as expected that the different tissues require different combination of signals, and even the same tissue might require different signals at different depths or different maturation stage. Tissues were mainly engineered using 2D. More complex multicellular tissues and organs have been engineered, including urethras, tracheas, blood vessels, airways, and bladders, such as pictures on the next slide. Here we go. This is an ear, trachea, heart valve, kidney, and bladder. This is a recent advanced tissue. Okay, and the next tissue engineering is young field that utilize cells, biomaterials, physical signals, biochemical signals, and their combination. To engineer tissues, the most common application of tissue engineering is to create tissues that can be used to repair or replace tissues in the body suffering partial or complete loss function. However, this tissue engineering has started to find new applications such as the development of extracorporeal life support units, in vitro disease models, tissues for drug screening, smart diagnosis, and personalized medicine. This application will be discussed in more details in the following section. So this is application of tissue engineering, which is include of three types. The first is implantable tissues and organ, and the second in vitro models for disease studies, used to restore different tissues, including the muscle, epithelial, and nervous tissues, and in vitro models as for disease studies to be able to control and ideally to cure many diseases that are still incurable. And the last of application tissue engineering is smart diagnosis and personalized medicine, through tailoring the tissue construct itself to fit the needs of a specific patient. So this is the peak of recent advances in the application of microfluidic in developing organ on chip or OOC models for in vitro investigation of engineered tissues and organs. This is the example of organ on chips. There are liver chip, kidney chip, lung chip, body chip, and their procedure how to make it. The advance in the field of tissue engineering, many challenges persist, which are related to three elements of cells, scaffold, and signals. Starting with the cells, the sources to get them and then sit them in the scaffold are numerous. In fact, autologous, allogenic, and xenogenic cells are all potential sources, and each of these can be subdivided into stem cells or differentiated cells. Since they all have their own advantages and disadvantages, the choice of the right source for the cells and their culture is a challenge by itself. The choice of scaffold biomaterials is not an easier task either. The scaffold must actually respond to both the structural and functional requirement of the body. It must be biocompatible and should be able to communicate with the extracellular matrix while at the same time providing the needed mechanical support. While natural materials have better biocompatible and biodegradability, synthetic ones usually present stronger mechanical properties. This is why the use of composite materials is sometimes required, which also allows the scaffold have its required porous structure. Another important challenge in tissue engineering is related to the transportation of nutrients and waste secretion in the engineered tissue. Since the majority of tissues rely on body vessel to transport oxygen and nutrients, the 3D engineered tissue needs to be vascularized with a vascular capillary network. This is not an easy task. After the implantation of the scaffold inside the body, the oxygen available is directly consumed and new vessels are formed only after several days. Alternative methods to angiogenesis are thus necessary, and many techniques for vascularization of the engineered tissues have been suggested, based on subtractive, additive, and hybrid methods. Finally, major challenge is still present, namely mass production and commercialization of the engineered tissues. Specific manufacturing conditions and quality control strategies need to be ensured. In addition, ensuring the exact needs of the patients and providing long-term storage and shipping facilities while ensuring that the structure and function of the tissues are intact are also of great importance. The last few decades have witnessed major steps in healthcare, leading to improved surgical procedures and better management of disease. All in all, the advances in the healthcare have raised life expectancy, augmenting vulnerability to disease and organ failure. Consequently, the aforementioned advancements have led to increase the demand for tissues and organs. The ultimate goal of tissue engineering is to bridge the constantly growing gap between organ demand and availability by producing complete organs. This area is expected to become increasingly applied as a valid clinical solution. Stem cells will continue to be investigated for their differentiation potential, and more application will be developed in the future. The major challenge for some cells, whether induced embryonic or adult, is to achieve commitment to the desired lineages. It is expected that more applications using stem cells will reach clinical trials in the near future. Furthermore, gene therapy and drug delivery are both expected to be used to help maintain the desired cell phenotype. The ultimate goal would be to engineer immune transparent stem like cells with clear protocols, enabling their committed differentiation to target tissues. Development in basic and applied science related to the fabrication of tissue engineering scaffolds will be a major future target. High throughput screening techniques might prove useful to determine combinatorial effects of molecules and materials on various cell types. The cellularized tissues are also expected to remain an important source of scaffold given their high abundance as well as their right chemical and structural composition. The potential limitation of such scaffold will always be the shortage of supplies, potential immunoreaction, and ethical concern. In future, it is expected that new biomaterials will be developed incorporating selected molecules to address targeted tissues. So the next introduction of stem cells. Stem cells is undifferentiated cells that are present in the embryonic, fetal, and adult stages of life and give rise to differentiated cells that are building blocks of tissue and organs. Stem cells can be used in cellular therapy to replace the damaged cell to regenerate organs. And the major characters of stem cell is first, self-renewal, the ability to extensively proliferate, and the second, clonality, usually arising from a single cell, and the last, potency, the ability to differentiate into different cell types. And the source of stem cell is divided into 5 types. There are oligopotent, pluripotent, multipotent, totipotent, and unipotent. Pluripotent, called ESCs, were first derived from the inner cell mass of the blastocyst. Pluripotent are able to differentiate into cells that arise from the 3 germ layers, which is ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, from which all tissues and organs develop. And the second, multipotent, is also called the most recognized multipotent cell, can differentiate into mesoderm-derived tissue such as adipose tissue, bone, cartilage, and muscle. And the third, we have totipotent, which the most undifferentiated cells and are found in early development. They differentiate a fertilized oocyte and the cells into both embryonic. And the fourth, oligopotent, able to self-renew and form 2 or more lineages within a specific tissue. For example, the ocular surface of the pig, including the cornea, hematopoietic stem cells. And the last, unipotent, can self-renew and differentiate into only one specific cell type and form a single lineage, such as muscle stem cells, giving rise to mature muscle cells and not any other cells. Summary: future efforts will focus on developing novel biomaterials for the different tissue engineering, stem cells, and regenerative medicine application. Research should also focus on materials that would reduce implant complexity, such as injectability or flexibility that allows minimally. So here, this is my references. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.